What's going on, everybody?
What's
This
up with it?
is Dre. That is Rashad, and welcome to episode number 2 of.
See, what happened was.
Oh man, we are glad to be back again.
Yes.
Sorry for the long wait as far as this episode goes, but we have had some scheduling conflicts going on.
Yes,
but,
we have.
You know, that's the nature of the beast around here, especially when you have two people who have families, we've got jobs, we've got grown folk stuff going on. So,
right.
Once again, forgive us, but we are here now, and we are ready to go. Rashad,
yes, sir.
What's going on?
Man, I like to put out there that I've officially been promoted to manager at my job.
Congratulations.
After 7 years. Long story short, the company I work for, now I won't give up this company. It's a huge company, but when people find out where you work, that's when everybody wants to hook up and all. Not doing that.
Absolutely.
But when I started with this company, 2 years in, a manager came to me and said, "Hey, I want you to be a supervisor." I didn't want to be a supervisor because everybody's like, "I don't want to be a supervisor," getting in my head. So I didn't do it. That same manager came back and said, "You should just go out for it." He really told me the perks. So I went out for it. I got it. So I got a taste of freedom. Like, okay, so what was I afraid of?
Right.
You see? But some people will talk you out of doing things that they don't want to do.
That's
so
right.
You can stay on a low totem pole like them. You know,
that's right.
If I'm offending anybody, then it's for you. Now, all the talk was going around like, I'll never become a manager. I'll never become a manager. We make more than managers. I started to believe that until I saw, no, we did not make more than managers. You can do overtime. You can do 6 days a week, 12-hour days, and you still ain't touching what managers make.
Mm-hmm.
So I went out to be management in my department. I got denied the first time. The first time I got denied, ended up in the hospital. I had to have hernia surgery.
Mm-hmm.
Second time went out for it, denied. Third time I went out for it, I got denied because they basically loved where I was on the supervisor role.
Right.
So, long story short, I kept my faith. I stopped listening to people who kept telling me, don't go out for manager, don't go out for manager. Oh, you're not going to like it, you're not going to like it. But see, other managers from another department saw my worth. They saw what I was doing. They gave me an opportunity just to fill out an application for this management position that they had in their department. Filled it out, didn't think much of it. Got a call. Got the interview. 3 weeks later, got the job. So out of everybody else that went out for it, I received it. I'm thankful for that. And then when they made the offer, you ain't making much more. You ain't making more than management. So I accepted the offer. I start actually this Tuesday. I'm excited. You know what I mean? Yes, my managers are upset because they didn't know. But the thing about it is, I want more. And if you don't give me more, I'll go another direction and get it.
Right.
That's what big dogs do. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So I'm thankful. So I apologize because it was mainly my fault. My schedule was kind of everywhere, but we back with it. We're going to give y'all the stories. And yes, sir. Looking at a new manager. Love it.
and that's what I'm talking about. And just let that be a lesson to everybody who is trying to go out for higher positions in your jobs. delayed does not mean denied. You know what I'm saying? You have to wait your turn. You got to put in the work. The same thing that was going on with Rashad, it was going on with me. I had to wait 6 years to get to the position that I'm in right now at my job. And
Wow.
even that was after the first year of my last promotion of them saying, oh, he can't do it. He can't make a decision. He's this, that, and the third, and messed up my self-esteem to the point to where I was down. I went out, but I was down for like 3 years, just
Mm,
trying to get back to where I was before as far as my self-esteem went, as far as my self-worth. But I had to say, you know what? Listen, if some of these people can get promoted, I can too. And I got back up, dusted myself off. I worked hard, and it took me to like the last round of promotions. And I said
mm.
after that, I wasn't going to promote. I was just going to put in for like my master designation at that position, and I was just going to leave it. Lo and
That's right.
behold, soon as I put in for that master position, I got a call saying that I got promoted. So it's all in time, and it's all in God's time at the
Yes,
end
it
of the day.
is.
So don't get mad, don't get frustrated. Just wait, and if
Just
it's
wait.
for you, it's for you.
And I would like to add, keep doing what you're doing because there are people watching. There were
Yes,
people watching me that I had no idea. And then when my name came up, people started buzzing. Oh, we know him. We know him. Oh, yeah, we know him. We know him. So the big bosses were like, well, we got to bring this dude in. So keep doing what you're doing. Treat everybody with respect.
there you go.
In my line of work, I always told my crew, I don't care who's coming through, you treat them with respect and see how far that takes you.
There you go.
There it is. There it is.
And the thing about it is the irony of keep doing what you're doing is that's a mantra at my job that the higher ups use, and we're just like, yeah, okay,
Yeah.
we've been hearing to keep doing what you're doing for years,
Well,
but
years.
it's the truth. Keep doing what you're doing, and then you'll get to where you want to be. It's just about time.
Message.
Right, right. It is
That's
just
right.
about time.
All right. All
So
right.
it is all
Yeah,
good.
man.
So we are going back to Oakhurst,
Oakhurst.
back to the 80s, back when Super Nintendo was king. We went into wrestling and all that good stuff.
Well, actually, it was when Nintendo. Wasn't no Super Nintendo yet.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
right.
yeah, yeah.
You're right.
Super Nintendo went to the
That was right.
90s.
90s.
Yeah.
That's right. Nintendo, I'm sorry. Mario Brothers and Duck Hunt, Gyromite.
Gyro, Gyro Mike, man. You know Gyro Mike, when you didn't want somebody to play with you, you squash them on purpose.
Yeah.
You know, kind of like playing Contra. You go ahead and leave the person.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Oh man, yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
I remember those days.
Guilty. So
But
yeah,
yeah,
we're gonna take it back to Oakhurst, and a lot of you guys were asking me what was up with the dude, Mr. Williams, who I called the neighborhood groomer. So story about this guy, which ties into being young and seeing things that you really shouldn't have seen at that age. I think I was about 8, 9, something like that. But the other kids in the neighborhood, they were talking about this dude, Mr. Williams, and like, oh, he cool. We watch wrestling at his house. He make us cookies and cakes and things like that. So, me being a kid, I was curious. I said, okay, let me go up to Mr. Williams' house. But it started out just kind of like a bunch of kids just hanging out. These were kids. I'm not teens. These were kids hanging out with a grown man. But I kind of didn't see nothing wrong with it because it was just everybody else was doing it. But he would just tell you, hey, if bring me some butter, I'll make you chocolate chip cookies or I'll make you a cake. So none of us really saw nothing wrong with that. We'd go over there and he'd make cakes and cookies and things. And after a while, things just started getting a little weird. And I remember it was wrestling he had on, whatever
Yep.
WrestleMania it was.
Yeah.
And I remember I actually told you about Mr. Williams.
Yeah.
Oh, we're going to go watch wrestling. It's this cool dude around. He makes cookies and cakes and donuts. But it started getting weird because the kids started talking about, hey, why don't you play that naked movie? So it was like, okay. But this dude used to show the kids in the neighborhood porn, and we'd all be, it was just like, hey, you thought it was kind of normal because you weren't really mature enough to know that this is wrong. You
Right.
know what I mean? Now, I do remember my mother got wind of this and she told us, I don't want you hanging out with that man. Don't go over there. But, I'm like, hey, man, this dude making cakes and cookies. He ain't never did nothing to me.
Right.
So I remember one day I went to school and my name was called. And they wanted me to go to the office. So I went to the office and went into this room, and one of the biggest cops I ever seen, this black dude, muscles on muscles. And he was like, hey, you shot? And I was like, yeah. He says, okay, well, I'm Officer such and such. I can't remember his name, but he said, a guy by the name of Mr. Williams. And I said, oh, yeah, he makes us cakes and cookies and things like that. He says, oh, he does. So he starts writing things down. Like I said, I'm a youngster. I don't know. I had to been like, what, third grade, something like that.
Yeah.
But he said, well, has he ever touched you? And I said, no. He says, well, let me ask you this. Do you know what a penis is? And I'm like, I said, yeah, you're private. You know? And he said, okay. He said, so he never touched you anywhere? I said, no, he just the man that make cakes and cookies for everybody. So he said, well, we have a report that he's been doing certain things to the kids in the neighborhood. And I said, well, I haven't seen anything. He's never done anything to me. And for me, that was it. Next thing you know, I don't know if they kicked this dude's door down, but they ran up in his house, and I think you remember him actually getting arrested.
I do.
And come to find out, he was a pedophile.
Yeah.
He was a pedophile. And, being a kid, we don't know. We tell them, yeah, we watch naked movies and things like that. We didn't know about that type of stuff. But that was my first introduction to, what I call a groomer, a guy that was just kind of friendly with kids because kids are naive, and whatever kids he touched on told their parents, and down he went. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I remember that day because we were outside, and then the next thing I know, because he lived like probably like 3 or 4 buildings down.
Yeah.
His, where we played football at in that
Yeah.
field,
That little dirt
that
field.
yeah, to the right of it is where he lived.
Yep.
And I can see them walking him downstairs in
Yeah.
handcuffs.
Yeah.
And that was an eye opener for me. And I was just wondering, like, what did he do? And it wasn't too long before that we were all in his house. And the only thing I remember, because I don't remember the porn, I don't think I was there for that.
Nah, you weren't there for none of
But
that.
I do remember us being there while he was baking, and we were watching wrestling. We were actually watching WrestleMania 4.
Ah,
And
yeah.
I remember that we were all playing wrestling, and he had got involved as well, to the
Yep.
point to where he was gonna drop an elbow on me, but his butt he landed on me with his butt, so my head was like, in the couch. Yeah, yeah.
Oh man.
No, right?
Stop it, I say. Oh
Oh
boy.
man. But
Just being kids,
it,
man.
yeah, yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah.
But those are the things that we had to deal with. Those are the things that we witnessed back then and
Yeah.
didn't really pay too much attention to it. But when you see things like that and you have those kind of experiences, it's like, wow, okay, so this Chester the molester type deal, this is real.
And that was
This is
big back in the
real.
80s. That was
Yeah,
really molestation was really, really huge in the 80s.
yeah,
A lot of this happening
yep,
uh to children, you know.
yep.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff going on in people's families, and it's just like you don't want to talk about it because, and I believe I touched on this in the first episode, you don't want to talk about it because you don't want to embarrass anybody,
Yeah. Yeah.
and then you bring it up and people don't want to believe you because you're a kid and, oh, that person ain't like that and you just making stuff up and blah blah blah. But today in 2022, oh yeah, you better believe you need to be looking into the stuff that your kids say.
Yes.
And especially when it comes to mine, comes to ours, we are definitely not going to take that stuff laying down.
No
So if
way.
your kid says something to you, you better make sure you investigate quick,
Yeah.
fast, and in a hurry.
Yeah. I know I surely would. You
Yeah.
know. Quick funny story. I remember the first time as a kid, I got cursed out. So
Hmm.
it was an old dude named Mr. Benny.
You gonna tell the story? All right.
Okay, so Mr. Benny was a mean old man. I don't know if he was like a World War vet or something. Black dude. He was a mean guy. He just did not like kids. We never did nothing to this man. But I remember I was playing with the homeboy Binky, and it was just after a rainstorm, and we'd
Yep.
go out, we throwing dirt, and throwing a little mud in the water and everything. And Mr. Benny come out and he said, "Hey, hey, y'all get out that water." And we kind of like, man, get you, looking at him like you ain't our mama, you ain't our daddy. So we mad dogging and we throw more dirt in the water. And he had one arm. Half his arm
Yeah.
was gone.
Yeah.
So old dude with a hat and glasses. And he came up and we said, we ain't gotta do nothing. And I'm talking to Binky. I said, we ain't gotta do nothing. He said, Binky's like, yeah, he ain't our mama. And he looked at us and he said, hey, hey, he said, what you looking at me for? You wanna eat my ass? And we like, yo, when I tell you, we looked at each other like, and we took off running, and his wife was yelling for him to come back in the house. And to this day, that man's voice is in my head. Like, what did he say to us? He really cursed us out like that for throwing dirt in the water, a puddle that's not his,
Right, right.
not in front of his house, but he just hated kids. I was, and it like like Eddie Murphy say, if I was walking down the street and I see Mr. Benny, I'd punch him in the face. You know, Eddie Murphy told the story about his brother, Miss Jenkins.
Yeah, yeah.
Man, I'm telling this dude, and we avoided this dude every day after that. Every day. Oakhurst living. But man. All right, I had to tell a little funny story, you know what
Oh
I'm
yeah.
saying? Move it
Yeah,
on,
yeah.
lighten up some things because that thing with Mr. Williams, it was like really dark, especially when we found out what was going on to like some of our friends, some of the people we knew
Right.
that really got molested by this dude. So, man, anyway,
Telling you, those were
oh,
some days.
yes, it was.
Okay, now we are going to go ahead and jump to 1990. And I know we touched on this in
Yeah.
the first episode, but we are going to go a little bit deeper into it. So after I left California, after all that drama took place, I came back to Florida to live with my grandma and my cousin and my granddaddy, my cousins and aunts. And everybody was basically in that place at one time. And it was really disheartening for me. I kind of felt depressed a little bit. Glad that I was back home with my grandma and everything like that, but kind of disappointed in things because I felt like our family was systematically broken up.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, I hear that my dad is getting married for the first time. And that just sent me into another spin because I'm like, man, okay, so I am separated from my mom and my brother, and now my dad is marrying somebody else, and I wasn't keen on that at all. I
Mm.
was not happy about that. But long story short, she's a good woman, very nice, and I mean they've been together for 32 years now, and everything is great. There's no issue that I have to this day, concerning that.
Yeah.
But the thing of it is as far as our dad goes, since we really didn't have that kind of relationship. Now we would see him at Oakhurst,
Yeah.
because he did some time. He did about 3 years for an incident, but other than that, we will only see him here and there. But there was a time period where I did live there for a year, but we, kept butting heads, and most of it is just because of the fact that he wasn't there in the beginning, and now trying to be a dad,
Yeah.
uh, that wasn't gonna work out too well. So we kind of fell out on that. The thing that I want to touch on is this, especially for you fathers that are out there right now. If you don't have that relationship with your kids, you better have it while they're young, because when they get older and you're trying to assert authority and stuff like that, it ain't gonna work. Y'all gonna have a very bad relationship. In my personal life, I've been there for my daughter since day one. Even though I'm not married to her mother anymore, I still spend time with her. I still take care of her. And it's not just because of 50-50 custody, it's because I am her father.
Yeah.
And I make sure that she has everything that she needs. And that includes not just the material, but the mental and the emotional support. So, you cats out there that are neglecting your kids, you got a rude awakening coming.
Yeah.
So I'm telling you now, you better get involved, and not because of the child support, but because you know it's the right thing to do. Because these kids, they really need their fathers in their lives. They need that mentorship, that positive role model type, not just
Yeah.
the ones that are out there hustling and all that kind of stuff and teaching them these bad things, because then they end up in jail. And probably if the father's been in jail, that cycle is most likely to continue. I've seen it. I know it to be true. So that's just my little tidbit. Take care
Yeah.
of your kids and be there.
Yeah. I like to add with that because even with my son, from day one, I was there. When things started going sour, and it's my and disclaimer: if you know her, tell her I said it. I don't care because this guy got the paperwork. So with that being said, I see a lot of guys that are always talking about, oh, well, she won't let me see the child, or she want this, she want this, she want that. Get up, go file paperwork, get your kid.
There
I don't
you
want to
go.
hear nothing about money. I did it without a dime. If
Yep.
I can scrape together $50 to file the paperwork, I think it was 25 at that time, I did it. But I fought for my child. I got custody of my child. Then I raised my child.
Yep.
I was in and out of courts fighting for this kid, in and out of jail fighting for this kid. And to this day, this child knows it was my daddy that got me out of a situation.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? I got custody of him about 2.5, 3, you know, of him being left on my doorstep and all that. That's another situation we'll get into. But I went and I fought for my kids. So if you guys are out there, you want to fight for your children, don't tell me what she's doing and this and this and this and that. You go to court because you have rights too. And
Exactly.
that's a big message because I did it and I won and I got the paperwork to prove it.
There you go.
That's right. It matters. It
Yes, it
really,
does.
really matters.
Yes, it
So
does.
yeah. So
So going
jumping
back
into when you
1990.
left
Mhm.
1990, when I tell you the really dark days started, it just seemed like to me what I would call hell on earth because it was when you know you're not wanted somewhere, when you know it's just tension, I would get like 30 looks from this guy all the time, my mom's husband, rolling his eyes, sucking up the teeth, and like just that I guess you could say like just the fussing and arguing, like for what reason? Like the whole mental abuse and just like just trying to be a bully. That's what it was. So in my mind, it's like, all right, I got rid of one. Let me try to get rid of the other.
Mhm.
So for me, it was just every day of even when I wanted to go outside, couldn't go outside. I'm in my room, no TV at the time, no beds at the time, no toys, just alone. You know what I'm saying? To sit and think. And when you have too much time to think, and I don't mind is what?
Devil's Workshop.
Yeah. And he worked on me, but he worked on me through this man that was just like so irritating and nasty to the point to where I remember I snapped one day and he was trying to tell me something because my thing is like, you're a step parent. You're not my daddy. So if you got anything to say, you tell my mama. But she was letting him just kind of talk to me about something. I think it was about the dishes or whatever. And I remember he said something, and I ignored him, and I said, "What?" And my mom said, "Well, what you say?" And I said, she said, "Did you hear yourself?" I said, "Yeah, I heard myself because I had had enough." And I remember we got into this big argument because she was like, I was being disrespectful. But I'm like, this man is disrespectful to me every day. He comes up in here. And now I snap. I think I was about 12 ish, 13 when I snapped. But, you know, they had mentioned, oh, we're just going to send you to juvenile hall. I'm ready to go. You know what I'm saying? I'm ready to go because I don't want to be here no more. It was just mental stress, like agony, pain, like I mean, walking on eggshells.
Yeah.
It was to the point to where I couldn't wait to go to school just to get out the house. And then when I was in school, my grades suffered because I knew in 8 hours or so, I got to go back home. I got to go back to the gates of hell, you know, which is why my grades plummeted
Mhm.
and my mental issues started. Um, and I just remember just low key losing my mind. Like when you're a kid, a teenager, and you're crying every day, and you're begging for somebody to save you, but there's nobody to save you. You know, there's nobody to save you, and you would tell, "Hey, I don't like this or I don't like that." You really couldn't. I really couldn't express to my mother what was going on because she didn't want to hear it. You know what I'm saying? It was more so like me expressing my feelings. She got attitude with that. You know what I'm saying? Uh, him having lavish things like the big TV, the stereo. Don't touch my TV. Don't touch my stereo. Don't sit on my couch. Sit on the floor. Don't eat my food. I mean, it. I'm being 100. This is stuff that went on. Now to a teenager, 12, 13 years old, how do you think that's gonna make them feel?
Right.
You know, that's what I went through, and it only got deeper when when you left. And then with the things that it's like, why don't you call your daddy and tell your daddy to go home? You want to go home like you did for your brother. And I mean, that's the type of stuff that I would hear. I would hear all the time, to the point where I was just like mentally beat down. And I just didn't know what to do. I had nobody to help me. I wore black every day. I'm talking about windbreak. It's California, it's 100 degrees outside. I'm outside in a jacket and windbreaker. You know what I'm saying? Just hoping that I have a heat stroke and pass out. You know what I'm saying? Like it was that bad. It was just that bad. And I can go deep because it was. I think this dude. Honestly, I think this dude was possessed. I really think he was possessed. Beelzebub, all of them. You know, he was just a possessed guy. You know.
Wow.
Yeah.
See, folks, these are the things that we had to endure. But at the same time, the things that we have experienced has made us better
Yep.
For what we saw. And if anything else, we saw basically what not to do. So we are going to save another one of those stories for another time because I know you got a lot to add.
Yeah.
A whole lot to add to that. So what we are going to do right now is do a little housekeeping. We need 100 subscribers for our YouTube channel. Okay. We've got 7 right now since we've just started the channel. So we need 100 subscribers in order for us to change our URL because right now it's like youtube.com/ all these letters and numbers.
Yeah.
So once we get to 100, then we'll be able to officially change our URL to youtube.com/ the Murvin Brothers. And it's very important that we are able to do that in order for you guys to find us a little easier.
Yeah.
So that's what we're asking right now. If you have anybody, we got a lot of YouTube friends. Okay.
Yeah.
We have a lot of Facebook friends, rather. We have a lot of Instagram friends. So those of you who are on Facebook and on Instagram, you follow us there. Follow us on YouTube, okay? All you got to do is go in there and search the Murvin Brothers, and we are right there.
Yeah.
So there's no excuse. You follow us on Instagram, you follow us on Facebook, you can follow us on YouTube.
Yeah. And it is on the Instagram page. Link is in the bio. Click the link, hit subscribe.
Yes.
Greatly appreciate it.
And once again, we are also, if you've seen on the crawl, on Spotify and Anchor FM. You can catch our first episode. This episode will also be on there as well. So you can't watch us, you can listen to us. Once again, on Spotify and on Anchor FM. Yeah, that's going to do it for us. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much for listening to us. We will try to be on a little bit more, but again, schedules dictate, and we got to make it do what it do.
Right.
So until next time, I am Dre. That's Rashad, and we will see you next time.
Next time. See?
What happened was.
Y'all be cool.
Yes, sir. Peace.